They didn't want them to know much. If the Germans got them, they didn't want them to know anything. So they weren't told very much. War is hell.
The German invasion of Lithuania brought both triumph and tragedy. When the German people first took control over the country, putting an end to the tyranny of the Soviet Union, many Lithuanians saw it as a way to take back their independence and restructure their Lithuanian government. The German invasion was seen as a victory in the beginning to the Lithuanian people. However, along with the triumph of the German invasion came tragedy. With the invasion of Germany came the Holocaust and the damaging effects it brought with it. The Holocaust crushed Lithuania. The deportation and execution of the Jewish population would leave a mark on the Lithuanian economy. On August 23, 1939, the Non-Aggression Pact was signed between Germany and the Soviet Union. In signing the pact, both Germany and the Soviet Union made an agreement to not attack one another or to join forces with another power that had conflicting ideas. In the Non-Aggression Pact was also a hidden protocol indicating where the spheres of influence for both countries would be. The pact said in territorial transformation, Lithuania would be the frontier of the spheres, that the Vilna territory would be recognized by both parties, as well as the sphere shall be bounded by the rivers Naru, Vistula, and San. Lithuania, a Baltic state located above Poland, along with Estonia and Latvia, two other Baltic states, fell under the Soviet sphere of influence. This is when and how the Soviet Union gained initial control over Lithuania. On September 1, 1939, the German invasion of Poland commenced, and 2 days later, on September 3, World War II began. The Soviets very quickly began pressuring the Baltic states for territory. Then in June of 1940, the Soviet Union mobilized troops on the Baltic borders, making a strong suggestion for Lithuania to establish a Soviet government. Lithuania was annexed by the Soviet Union and made a Soviet republic on August 6, 1940. The Non-Aggression Pact became void when Germany attacked the Soviet Union. Two German army groups invaded Lithuania on June 22, 1941, and took over western and northern Lithuania. The Soviet Union didn't put up much of a fight, and the Germans received the support of the Lithuanian people. When Germany first invaded Lithuania, they were seen as liberators. It was believed that the Germans would bring independence to Lithuania. In a last attempt, the Soviets tried to prevent further advancements with the Battle of Versailles on June 23rd. The battle would end with a high amount of casualties, and Germany gaining control over the country. The Lithuanian people then began an attempt to rebuild their government and solidify their independence. Within this time, many laws were created and ignored by the Lithuanian people. Germany ignored the Lithuanian government as a whole. The Lithuanian government was dismissed, and Heinrich Lüsse, who would later be tried for crimes he committed during the war, put into power an administrative region called Ostland. The administration gained even more hate when it started recruiting Lithuanian men for forced labor, and when their demands of 100,000 men were not met, they abducted youths to fill the missing places. Many tried to rise up against Germany, such as the Lithuanian Activist Front, who would take on other activist groups like the Lithuanian Freedom Army. However, their leaders were imprisoned. Activist groups would continue to form and try to fight for independence due to the once hopeful invasion changing direction. The Jewish population faced persecution from fellow Lithuanians before and after the invasion of the German forces.
Ar buvo tokia mintis, kad atsisakyti nešauti?
Tiesiog, žinot, kai sakant, čia dabar sunku išaiškinti šitą viską, kai sakant, tokios dalykus, kai sakant, šaut, nešaut, kai sakant. Kai sakant, nežinau, kai sakant. Čia, kai sakant, kiti dėl to šitų pasipiktinimų, kai sakant, kad čia. Tikrai tie, kai sakant, žydai, kai sakant, yra tokie Nu, savanaudiški, kai sakant, kaip tik, kai sakant, pasakyti.
Dabar, sakysim, reiškia, prieš jūs stovi žydas. Nu, gerai, sakysim, ne vyras, reiškia, stovi moteris arba vaikas, nu vaikas tai jisai niekad nebuvo komunistas. Jūs paimat, jūs tą vaiką nušaunat. Ką jisai padarė?
Nu, tai čia, kai sakant, yra tragedija didelė.
By the end of 1941, a great majority of the 250,000 Jews in Lithuania had been killed, and other parts of the Jewish population had been relocated to ghettos, in places such as Vilna, and labor camps throughout Lithuania. However, in 1943, the ghettos were either destroyed or converted into concentration camps. 15,000 Jews were deported to camps in Estonia and Latvia, and another 5,000 to killing centers, places established for mass murder. Lithuania was greatly affected by the Holocaust. 90% of Lithuanian Jews had been murdered by the German people, which was one of the highest victim rates in Europe. The main Allied powers, Great Britain, the US, and the Soviet Union, fought many battles to prevent any further German expansion. The US expressed their support to free the Baltic states from Germany. Many US soldiers were sent overseas to fight against the Germans.
Great-granddad was in the 90th Infantry, which means they walked all the way. They didn't ride. And he was in Normandy, never got scratched there. He was laying behind dead animals in a mud puddle with goo and everything in it. And he was so thirsty that he actually drank the water out of that puddle with dead animals and stuff in it. On the Normandy beach, he saw all kinds of guys blown up and everything. I asked him once if he ever looked, and he said no, I just looked straight ahead and kept going. This is a dress dagger that the German soldiers had. It was not actually combat, it was to show off.
Very often, once in a great while, he said that one time when they were bombing, they had to hide under an old collapsed like building, you know, in under there, and when he crawled out from that in the morning, the guy said, your hair almost turned gray overnight.
With the previous support of the Allied powers, the Soviet Union was able to gain back control of Lithuania through the Baltic Offensive, the Soviets' plan of events to take back the Baltic states. The second occupation brought along the same things as the first. Lithuanians resisted Soviet reoccupation from the start. The rights of the people were non-existent, and many important cities became settled by the Russians. This led to a long guerrilla war fought between Lithuania and the Soviet Union. The struggles of the Lithuanian economy pushed for the move to capitalism and democracy. In the 1980s, the policy Glasnost, instituted by Mikhail Gorbachev, allowed for open discussion of political issues. This gave Lithuania the push they needed to proclaim independence on March 11, 1990. Finally, after a standoff, the Soviet Union granted Lithuania independence on September 6, 1991. This marked a victory for Lithuania as they gained back their freedom. At first, Lithuania had economic hardships, but new businesses paved the way for development. In 2004, Lithuania accomplished a goal by joining the European Union and NATO. The Lithuanian economy today is growing immensely. However, the Soviet and German occupations left the country behind the advancements of the West. The German invasion of Lithuania was a triumph in its early stages. The Lithuanian people had hope and believed they could restructure their government. However, things took a tragic turn, resulting in the mistreatment of the Lithuanian people and economic struggles. After the victory of freedom, the Lithuanian economy is improving, but the events of World War II will always have a lasting effect.